how does one develop, how does one understand the instructions of the spiritual master?
How does one exactly, how one should understand the exact desire of spiritual master?
The exact desire of spiritual master. And then then the second part of the question is it necessary to be initiated to understand?
To understand. Is initiation necessary for understanding
the instruction of the spiritual master? so,
the desire is the initiation is necessary to understand the desires of the spiritual master.
Isn't initiation necessary to have a spiritual master? Anyway, I understand the spirit of this question. Anyway, whose question is this one? Can you identify? That was your question. Yeah. To understand the desire of the spiritual master, initially, it is important that one hears from the spiritual master. The spiritual master tells you what he wants, and that's how you understand the desire of the spiritual master. There's no need to speculate on what is the desire of your spiritual master. So just act according to the instruction of the spiritual master. Spiritual master initially is giving you some very simple instructions. Chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, 16 rounds. Do you understand the desire of the spiritual master? Follow the 4 regulative principles. Do you understand the desire of the spiritual master? So just follow that. Serve Srila Prabhupada's mission. The spiritual master, do you understand the desire of the spiritual master? So these are the basic desires of all the spiritual masters in ISKCON. So there is no need to get into the complexity of understanding the psychology of the spiritual master. And the next consideration is that whether initiation is necessary. What you probably meant is that does one need to become a fixed up devotee to understand the instruction of the personality who is guiding you in your spiritual life? Yes. You see, initiation has 2 aspects. The initiation, generally we mean the initiation by initiation again, primarily it has 2 aspects. One aspect is the beginning of spiritual life. Initiation means the beginning. So when your spiritual life begins, you actually have become initiated. When you started to chant the holy name, when you start to follow the 4 regulative principles, when you start to serve the mission of ISKCON in the association of devotee, that is the beginning of your spiritual life. But the other aspect of initiation is the formality of Diksha. Now, this Diksha aspect of initiation has got 2 aspects. One aspect is the mantra, receiving the mantra. You see, in other ages, the mantras were kept as a secret. Mantras were given by the Guru to a qualified candidate through the process of initiation. Without the mantra, the spiritual life couldn't begin. That's why this was initiation. Diksha was the beginning of one's spiritual life. But in this age, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the Maha Mantra. And, he, without any reservation, has distributed the holy name to anyone and everyone. Therefore, in this age, to receive the mantra, we do not need Diksha. This Hare Krishna Maha Mantra does not depend upon Diksha. Chaitanya Charitamrita clearly mentions that this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Diksha Purascharya Vidhi Apekkha Kore, Jivbha Sparshe Achandale Shabare Uddhare. That this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra does not depend upon the formality of Diksha and Purascharya or purificatory process. Just by coming in contact with the tongue, Jivbha Sparshe, just by the touch, getting the touch of the mantra by the tongue, even up to a Chandal can become delivered. So Hare Krishna Maha Mantra does not depend upon the formality of Diksha. That's one aspect of Diksha. But the other aspect of Diksha is surrender. Diksha kale shishya kore Atma-Samarpana, সেই কালে কৃষ্ণ তারে করে আত্মসম. At the time of initiation, the disciple surrenders unto the spiritual master. And at that time, Krishna accepts him. So this is the second aspect, or the another principal aspect of importance of Diksha. Diksha is needed for surrender. For getting the mantra, we don't need Diksha nowadays in this age. Rather, in ISKCON, to qualify for Diksha, one needs to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 16 rounds for so many months. But the other aspect, for that, there is a need for Diksha. That's why Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur instituted this formality of Diksha, and Prabhupada has followed that process of Diksha in ISKCON. For surrender, you need to be formally initiated. That is, formally you are surrendering to an agent of Krishna. And then Krishna is accepting you. So yes, you have to surrender to find a guru. What to speak of understanding the instructions of the guru. But the main point is that when you have found a guru, when you have accepted a guru, just surrender unto him. There is no need to get into all kinds of speculation, of understanding the Guru's mind. Guru's instructions are very simple. Like Guru's instructions are as simple as Guru says, get me a glass of water. So you just bring a glass of water. Don't think that, oh, if I take a glass of milk, it'll be better. So you don't try to understand the Guru's mind. You simply try to act according to the Guru's instruction. That is the business of a sincere disciple. Thank you.
This question is the relationship between that disciple and the spiritual master deficient, therefore he doesn't understand what the spiritual master would want me to do? Is the relationship need to be strengthened so that the disciple understands, and the spiritual master understands what the disciple can do, and the disciple understand the heart of the spiritual master, so that is there a need? It sounds like there's a relationship deficient he's referring to.
The relationship again is a consideration of surrender, acceptance of the instruction. Like say, for example, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur told Srila Prabhupada in their very first meeting that you spread the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through English language throughout the world. And Prabhupada just accepted that instruction, and he dedicated himself in fulfilling that instruction, so much so that although he was a 26-year-old young man, married with a child, had a very nice position as a manager in a pharmaceutical company, he quit his job in order to commit himself to that instruction of his spiritual master. He didn't have to speculate anything. He didn't have to get into the mind of his spiritual master. Maybe my spiritual master wanted me to maintain my household ashram and maintain my job and maintain my this and that and do this. No, Prabhupada took the instruction clearly. My spiritual master told me to take up this mission of spreading Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message throughout the world, and he committed himself to that. It's as simple as that. So the consideration of how sincerely you are going to accept the instruction of your spiritual master lies in your sincerity and commitment.